Here at Dunsmoor, we don't use any electric machines with the exception of like temperature control. We have no blenders, we have no food processors, we have no stand mixers. We do everything by hand. Cooking by hand and cooking with wood fire is definitely less efficient. It's more difficult. If you're making a salsa verde by hand, like chopping all the herbs, doing it in the mortar and pestle, you have a lot of different opportunities to make good decisions and taste as you go. Whereas when you're just like throwing things into a machine, I don't think you have that option. I had this theory, food cooked in the past can really be accentuated with the knowledge that we have now, but working within the limitations of the past. Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Brian Dunsmoor, the chef owner of Dunsmoor Restaurant. Come on in, we got a lot to do. So it's 11 a.m. and the first thing I like to do once I get in the building and get settled is I like to grab the computer from the front and then check the reservations. So when I'm checking the reservations, what I'm looking for is cover count, any like special people that might be coming in that we're excited about, and then also the flow of service. We have a lot of industry that comes in here on any given night. You know, there might be like 6 tables of chefs, which can get pretty overwhelming. What really makes the difference in being successful financially in a restaurant is like being able to fill the earlier part of the night and the later part of the night. The middle is just a given. Like you're gonna be busy. 85 covers to start, probably do 120. So looking good on reservations. When we get going during service, the first thing that gets popped is the back bar, because we do kind of like a pub burger, like a thick, medium rare, dry-aged burger back there with duck fat fries, and we only offer 20 a night. Right when the doors open, people are coming in to try to like capture their burger before they're 86th. We like to keep the menu pretty loose because we like to change it very often and cross-utilize products. We try to be as thrifty as possible here because we don't want any waste. So right now, I'm just checking the menu from last night and then kind of reworking it based on what we have coming in today. I think that looks like about it for changes today. All right, now we're done marking up the menu. Let's get in the kitchen and make sure that we have everything that we need. Most of our grains, like our grits or cornmeal or rice, whatever grain it is that we're using at a time, is normally from Anson Mills. I think all chefs say the same thing. It's like find the best ingredient and treat it simply and try to just accentuate that. Like that's what all chefs say, but it really is true. And the older I get, the less I want to do to these great products. It's our job just to let them shine. And here's our Bayonne oysters, wild from Maine. Look at these beauties. There's only 5 kinds of edible oysters on the planet, and this is one of them. They have a very coppery flavor, which doesn't lend itself well to eating raw, in my opinion. So we cook these in the wood oven with a Florida Botarga butter that our buddies make. All right, looking good. Looks like we got everything that we need to do the changes on the menu that we talked about earlier. Let's do it. All right, so it's about 12:30, so it's time to get the fire started so we can start cooking and get ready for service. Just so we're not wasting a bunch of paper and stuff, a little bit of paper helps getting the fire going. So we just use some of our spent menus from the night before. So I like to just take this little wad of paper and kind of sit it right here in the middle. I also like to use a little bit of wood chips just to kind of help move it along a little bit. And then when we're building it, I like to use like 2 large logs on the bottom to build the base and then kind of stagger it up from there. And then I like to start using some smaller ones here just because they'll light up, and then I like to go back to big on the top because the bigger the wood, the bigger the coals in the end, but the longer it takes to get going. But we just want it to like ignite. So it'll take a while for this to burn down into coals because we don't cook over live fire, we cook over coals. Once this burns down, we'll like push a little bit of it back, and then we'll just start feeding this andiron right here to continue producing coals, and then we'll shuffle them over here underneath the grill. During service, when we have this thing at full force, if you use the laser thermometer, it doesn't even read. So that means it's like 1,000 degrees back here. It gets very, very hot. So this right here, this is called fat wood. It has this like really flammable sap, which is like a great natural fire starter. So we'll use a little bit of like the night before's oil. Just watch how this stuff just lights up. You can smell it. You can smell the sap burning. Then we just tuck this down in here. And at this point, like it should take care of itself. We want it to be burning really hot, so we're not getting that kind of acrid bad smoke taste. We want that clean charcoal taste. And once it starts burning down in the coals, then we'll be ready to cook on it. But we'll pull a little bit of this burning wood over here in a second when Conrad starts smoking the quail to kind of get the wood chips going for the actual smoke. So while working the fire, you definitely need like some special tools to keep it going. This is like a cool little doodad also. If you look at it, it has like a mouthpiece, kind of like a trumpet. Have you ever seen when people, blow on coals to help ignite them? That's what this does, except your face isn't completely in the fire. So you can basically, and that'll really help get it going. We use that a lot over here. And you can see how it moves the flame around and adds some oxygen to the situation. Cooking with live fire definitely presents a couple different challenges. It's the actual heat itself, because this thing gets crazy hot. So once it's burned down to coals are hotter than the actual fire itself, but we use wood and the wood fire flavor as like an ingredient. People have been cooking meat over live fire since the beginning of cooking, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You can't get that depth of flavor like in a saute pan. You can only get that flavor cooking over charcoal and live fire. It's coming up on 1 o'clock. It's time to meet and discuss the menu for tonight with the sous chefs, and then we're gonna get going on prep. It's definitely a collaborative team effort. It's like, the more eyes on this stuff, the better. Up here, I got like a big fat loin of the wild Boston bluefin tuna. I think we can throw that up here. We'll be running a little bit heavy up here with 5. I think we do our fallback set with the Florida Batarga, a little bit of Soletta, chive, lemon zest. You guys know the drill.
How do you want it?
Let's start with lean, and then we'll go into fatty tomorrow. I'll block it out. I'm gonna butcher that here in a second.
Like sliced or?
Yeah, we'll do it sliced.
Okay.
We got those Asian pears in. We have 4 quarts of farmer's cheese, so let's use that with it. The pear chutney from the quail, we'll move up here. And I think we can do like a little mashed potato, like divot in the cheese. And then we'll plate the farmer's cheese, kind of like we have been doing. I think the Asian pears, I think we're gonna need to cut those to order.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
it'll be fine. And then we'll plate that up. Maybe let's throw some toasted, chopped, like crushed walnut into there as well. And then we can plate that up nicely with the pear chutney in the middle on the farmer's cheese. Maybe like a little bit of orange zest on there, and then we'll just finish it with the date vinegar. And if you guys want to work on plating on that one, that would be nice. So 86 the pear chutney off of the quail. We'll do the cider glaze on this bad boy. We're gonna let's smoke it. We'll get Conrad smoking that right now, and then we'll do the cider vinegar. I think that'll be nice. All right, cool. Let's do it. So now that we got the menu set for tonight, time to get in here, and I'm gonna start cutting some fish and portioning some fish. Before we start cutting this fish, let's not disrespect the fish. Let's get these knives sharp. So this is a Japanese waterstone. We sharpen all our knives by hand, obviously. I think everywhere does that. And this is a sujihiki, which is like a Western style slicer. This is what I like to use for breaking fish. So like breaking down bigger pieces of it. I think a good way to test is you go like this on your thumb and press, and if it slips, that means that part of the knife needs to be sharpened more. So this one's feeling pretty good. I'm gonna run it for 1 more second. And I'm left-handed, so I sharpen about 70% on this side, about 30% on this side right here. I think we're a little sharper than we were when we started, so let's go. So this is the wild Boston bluefin tuna. Really special fish. All tuna is special, but this one has really great flavor, really good fat. A lot of umami in the lean sections too. And it's not available very often. So it's like when we see it, we'll get it. This paper that they wrap it in right here, it's like it absorbs a lot of moisture. And like one of the keys is just making sure that you're removing as much moisture as possible, because like the juice is like what starts to get weird first. So like every fish is different. So I think it's really important to like have a little bit of a game plan before you just start cutting into it. So I think for this one, I'll start right here with the bloodline. We're just gonna get that out. You just wanna be really, really gentle with the fish because it's very delicate and it can be like busted up. And I think texture, when it comes to raw fish especially, is really, really important. We're looking good. If you see right here, like right here, this area is gonna have a little bit more sinew. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take this section off. So we can just remove this, roll it off. You really want to clean as you're going because scales will get on here and you don't want to be picking that out of the meat. We'll probably cut it into blocks going this way and then we'll split them. So we're going to serve this sliced and raw with a little bit of anchovy infused olive oil, which we like to call soletta. And then we're just going to garnish it with like a little bit of chive, a little bit of lemon zest, and a cured mullet roe or batarga that our buddies in Santa Maria Island, Florida at Cortez Seafood, they do a Florida batarga out of a wild Florida mullet. All right, so the bluefin is all cut and organized. We're gonna get it into the walk-in to kind of air dry until the end of service, then we'll wrap it up at the end. We're gonna go check on these little quails smoking in the hearth. All right, so it's coming up on 2. This is our little smoking technique that we came up with. No room for a real box smoker or anything like that. So basically what we did here is we just moved grill implements over here with a water bath to protect it. We wrap the whole thing and then we kind of buddy up some sheet trays to kind of hold everything together and just let it go. It's really important to keep an eye on this though, because if this lights up on fire, you're gonna get like a lot more heat than you want, and then the quail are gonna cook all the way through, and that's not the point of the dish. Because we still cook the quail like medium or so on the grill. So we just wanna make sure that it's like a really gentle smoke. All right, quail's looking really nice. So we're gonna get over here and we're gonna start making the cornbread batter. Right here is Anson Mills cornmeal, baking powder, baking soda, and salt. We're gonna get this into a bowl just to incorporate it. This part's really important, even just mixing the dry properly, because you really want, you don't want any like clumps of cornmeal in there, otherwise that translates into the actual finished dish. And nobody likes lumpy cornbread. The dry is all incorporated. You really want this smooth to begin with before the milk goes in. So this is an adaptation of an old Edna Lewis recipe that I pulled out of an old book a long time ago that we kind of worked on, and then we mashed it up with chilies and cheese, which is the way that my mom used to make cornbread. So it's kind of like a mashup of Edna Lewis's classic sour milk cornbread and my mom's chili cheese cornbread. All right, so the eggs are nice and beaten up. So here we're gonna take our buttermilk. We're gonna go in. We're just gonna whip this up just a little bit more. I like to add the cornmeal into this little by little, just so, again, so there's no clumps. So the ideal texture on this for the end product is gonna be as smooth as humanly possible. This is a 2-year aged Hooks white cheddar, which is really nice and sharp. We've tried other cheeses, but this is what we like the best. So just give this a little mixin'. And then these are New Mexico green chilies. If you look here, this is the finished product. And it's just gonna come together more as it sits before service. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass this over to the wood oven station, let it kind of come together, and then in a couple hours, we'll start firing them off. And we serve 50 to 75 cornbread a night. Even on a mellow night, like pretty much every table has a cornbread. So thank you, Edna. We are gonna do our final checks, make sure everything's good to go, and then off to the races. When people walk into this restaurant, we want them to feel like they're walking into their own home or a friend's home. This is like their little happy place, or at least that's what I want it to be. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for spending the day in the kitchen with us at Dunsmoor. Now get out of here. We got work to do.